Dominic Mysterio has officially chosen Rhea Ripley over Liv Morgan, but will the decision backfire? Let's break it all down. Welcome to Allison Analysis, the show where I rate wrestling shows using only emojis. Why? I don't really know why. It seemed like a good idea in my head. Anyway, Gunther kicked off Raw, and let's be honest, it wasn't his best promo. The crowd were doing what chants, it took a little while to get going, and he was just going for the low-hanging fruit once again. But once he got into his stride, it was delivered well, it was decent, it advanced the storyline, it was fine. But Damian Priest then came out, and Damian Priest just did not want to talk. The two started brawling, they brawled all the way backstage, it was absolute and utter chaos to kick off Monday Night Raw, and this feud has only been going on for a couple of weeks, but this made it feel like there was so much passion behind it, there was so much hatred between these two men, and this was needed. In fact, this can take my money. Excellent storytelling. But then Braun Breaker and Ilya Dragunov faced off in my type of match. The two went to war, they beat the living hell out of each other, and again, it can take my money, I absolutely adored it. Now I know not everybody liked the ending, but I did, and the reason why I liked it was it protected Dragunov. Dragunov didn't take a pin, while it still made Breaker look strong. It was a referee stoppage, it wasn't a count out, it made Breaker look strong, I liked it. Sonya Deville then defeated Lyra Valkyria in a match which had a lot of interruption on the outside. It was a little bit chaotic, but it was fine, it did its job. I'm liking this new faction with Sonya Deville, Zoe Stark, and Shayna Baszler, and Sonya Deville ultimately did need a bit of a win in the singles division, so I was fine with this. We then had another Wyatt 6 VHS tape, and I've been a big fan of the Wyatt 6 since they've debuted. I've been loving these VHS tapes, but I'm going to be honest with you, this one just did not hit the same. It didn't really explain anything, and I think the point of it was to just make Nikki Cross look absolutely insane, make no sense, she's just completely gone off the rails, but I still think they could have done a little bit better of a job. I didn't really care for this one, if I'm being completely honest. CM Punk then came out to the ring, and he said he is now cleared, and he called out Drew McIntyre for a match. But McIntyre came out and said that he was not looking for a fight, and everybody was very, very confused because McIntyre's been looking for a fight for absolutely months now against CM Punk. But Adam Pearce then came out and explained it. He said the reason McIntyre didn't want to fight is because the two have a match scheduled for SummerSlam, but it is cancelled and they're both suspended if either one lays a finger on the other. And then Seth Rollins came out and he was announced as the special guest referee for SummerSlam. The crowd loved this segment. It felt very, passionate. There was so much hatred involved in it between all the men. So you know what? I'll give it a subtle round of applause, but I do have an issue. In fact, I do have a couple of issues with Seth Rollins being the special guest referee at SummerSlam. The first issue is just a couple of weeks ago on Raw, Seth Rollins told CM Punk that he was not going to let him get his hands on Drew McIntyre. Seth Rollins was going to do everything in his power to stop Punk touching Drew McIntyre because he wanted CM Punk first. But now suddenly he's the special guest referee for it? I mean, that's a bit of a 180. It feels like we've kind of missed a couple of steps here. Secondly, how is Drew McIntyre suddenly not suspended after last week? I mean, he took out all those referees. It makes no sense. In hindsight, what happened last week with McIntyre should have happened a couple of weeks ago, and then that Punk Rollins promo should have never have happened. And then last week on Raw, Rollins should have been backstage with Adam Pearce saying, please let me be the referee for this match, please let it happen, please unsuspend Drew. Why? Well, because I want to make sure nobody gets caught in the crossfires between these two again, like I was caught in the crossfires. I think that would have made a lot more sense, there wouldn't have been any plot holes, and you could still involve Seth Rollins with them both down the line. That being said, don't get me wrong, I'm still very much hyped for this match. The Final Testament then defeated Woods, Otis, and Tozawa in a match which was fine, but the highlight was what happened afterwards. Gable and the Creeds gave Otis, Tozawa, and Maxine one last chance to rejoin the Alpha Academy, but they said no. Everyone brawled, and Gable and the Creeds were on top until the Wyatt 6 came out, and the Creed brothers were distracted by what was going on at the entrance. Meanwhile, Uncle Howdy from behind hit a Sister Abigail on Chad Gable. I really enjoyed this segment. I really did. It can get a subtle round of applause off me. Pete Dunne was then randomly supposed to take on Bronson Reed, but Sheamus came in, took Pete Dunne out, then took Bronson Reed out, and it looks like we're setting up for a triple threat. Now, I like this, and the reason why I like this is Raw's had so many interruptions at the end of matches on the mid-card lately, so I like the fact that this happened at the start of the match instead, so I'll give that a thumbs up. Rhea then forced Dominic Mysterio to go out to the ring, and Rhea called out Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan then came out and shockingly told Dominic Mysterio that she loves him, but Dirty Dom, well, he's up to his old dirty ways because he doesn't feel the same, and he pleaded his alliance to Rhea Ripley. Liv then went away crying. It was so cringe, but it was done so well, to be honest with you. I mean, yes, this entire thing is cringe. Yes, it's a bit over the top. Yes, it's probably not what we expected from Triple H booking. But yes, I also love it. Yes, I've been entertained by it. And yes, so will the crowd. So you know what? This can take my money. I've said it for months and I'll continue saying it. Finn Balor is 100% behind this Liv Morgan thing, right? Liv Morgan is acting. She is working with Finn Balor. The Judgment Day is going to employ very, very soon. Could it happen at SummerSlam? I think so. Zelina Vega then defeated Zoe Stark in a match where she had a lot of help from Lyra and Lyra's friends, along with a little bit of help from her arm cast. I said it last week and I'll say it again right now. Triple H isn't afraid to have faces do heel-like things, because this was certainly a bit of a heel-like thing, but it was entertaining and it'll get a thumbs up from me because it was a decent match. In the main event, we had a heck of a fun match between Sami Zayn and Jey Uso taking on JD McDonough and Finn Balor, the World Tag Team Champions. And the big shock here was Jey Uso and Sami Zayn, they won, which I presume means we're going to get a rematch after SummerSlam with the belts actually on the line. But after the match, Sami Zayn had absolutely no time to celebrate because Braun Breaker broke the living hell out of his ribs when he hit him with a spear. Really fun ending to the show. This entire ending to the show I thought was brilliant. The tag match was really fun. The post-segment advanced the feud heading into SummerSlam so we can get a subtle round of applause off me. And you know what? Overall, this was an excellent episode of Monday Night Raw, which can also get a subtle round of applause. It advanced most of the stories really, really well, even if there were a few plot holes in the Punk, McIntyre, and Rollins storyline. Performer of the Night is a really, really tough one. But I'll give it to Braun Breaker, right? And it is very, very close. But at the end of the day, I think him and Dragunov had the match of the night. And certainly the spear after the main event is a contender for moment of the night. But what is actually going to get moment of the night is Dominic Mysterio saying no, no, no to Liv Morgan. And yes, yes, yes to Rhea Ripley. I mean, that moment I think is going to be critical in the split of the Judgment Day. Finn Balor, he knows what he's doing. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please like and subscribe. I really, really appreciate it. And leave your comments on the show down below as well. I always read them and I always interact with them as well. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. There won't be an Allison Analysis for AEW Dynamite this week. And the reason for that is I'm graduating for uni on Thursday, so there'll be no content on Thursday. But I'll be back on Saturday for Allison Analysis for SmackDown, and also every day Wrestling Republic news, and of course Wrestling Republic Daily, 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 12 p.m. Pacific. I will see you guys then. Peace!